everyone. Welcome to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. We are the official Monster Jam podcast. I'm Scott Jordan, and my guest this week is a modern-day legend in Monster Jam, monster trucks, and motorsports. We are going to go to Champaign, Illinois, on the Great Clips hotline to welcome Mark Hall to the show. Mark, thanks for being here, man. Such a great pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. I got to be honest. This is an honor to be on here with you. That's pretty cool. I was really excited about this.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And flattery will get you everywhere on my show. So thank you so much.
There you go.
So we use the word legend, sparse in this business. We talk about Tom Meents and Dennis Anderson, but you're right up there. I mean, we're talking 1991 for you. So 33 years. What are your, let's just, make it a generic start to the show with this, but what are your thoughts when people say, oh, that's Mark Hall, he's a legend?
I don't know about the legend part. It's pretty neat that I've been very blessed that I've been around this long. I never, back when we started doing this, I would have never ever guessed that it would have turned into all this. I would have, I'd be talking to you today, all these years later. So I never thought it would turn into all this, but it's been really neat and it's been a wild ride. I've had a lot of fun. And, my mom used to tell me, she says, in all these years, you got to go a lot of neat places and meet a lot of neat people, all because of that truck with those big silly tires on it. And she's right. It's been a lot of fun.
Isn't it amazing how far big silly tires will get you in life?
Yeah, it is. It's unreal.
We're all here because of that right now. Well, let's go back to.
That's right. The big silly BKT tires.
That's right. Exactly. Let's go back to 91, the formation of Hall Brothers Racing with your brother Tim. Where did that idea come from?
I'll be honest. We were always into four-wheel drive trucks and that stuff, that sort of thing. And we were always into motorsports. My dad was a motorcycle announcer. He used to announce the AMA Camel Pro Series stuff, flat track stuff. And, we kind of grew up at the racetrack, and I think that's how we caught the motorsport bug. And, mom had a little influence there. She didn't really want us racing motorcycles. We wanted to race something. She didn't really want us racing that. But anyway, so we got into truck stuff and four-wheel drives, and we kept building bigger and bigger street trucks, and we couldn't drive them on the street anymore. And around that time, that's when the monster truck stuff started to grow really big. And so we thought, we can't drive these big street trucks on the road anymore. So let's change it a little bit and let's give this monster truck thing a try. And again, I never dreamed it would ever turn into all this.
And the sport, obviously, back then when you started, much more scaled back correctly. It was just a lot of, let's see what you guys can run over with those big silly tires.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Back then, we had maybe 500 horsepower. And that's probably being pretty generous. Maybe 500 horsepower. Trucks had 5-6 inches of suspension travel, and you put a bunch of lights on there and a whole bunch of shocks and stuff, and it was pretty cool. And now these trucks have changed so much, and now I always say they're a race car with big tires on them. It's a combination of a top fuel car and an off-road truck, and I tell you, I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I never dreamed all those years ago that I would start. I climb into a Monster Jam truck here, and I turn the power on, and the computer screen would light up.
Yeah.
And then I put it in reverse, and a reverse camera would come on. I mean, I never ever dreamed that it would turn into all that. Holy cow, these trucks have come a long ways over the years.
It's like we're all driving big computers out here now at this point. Even cars, trucks, doesn't matter. It's all computers. So you're obviously still behind the wheel of a Monster Jam truck, but where does your brother Tim? What is his involvement right now with Hall Brothers Racing?
Tim, he runs the business side of things, and he does a really good job with that. He builds all of our engines, all that sort of thing. Does all the wiring, plumbing, all that stuff of the trucks and stuff. And I don't know how it just kind of worked out good because I don't know anything about, you'd think in all these years I would have picked up a little something about engine stuff, but I'm not much of an engine guy, and I can help him put it in, but that's about it. But it works out pretty slick because I do all of our welding and fabricating and all that sort of thing. So I build the frames and chassis, and then, Tim's over there building engines and transmissions, that sort of thing. And then it all comes together, but it's pretty cool. Cause I always tell everybody, if the truck doesn't start, I got a problem. I don't know. And so I gotta rely on Tim. But if Tim couldn't weld two pieces of metal together, if his life depended on it, so I don't know how that all come about, but it just worked out real good, and it works pretty slick. He does his thing, I do mine, and then at the end of the day, it all comes together, hopefully.
That's great that you guys are still, at the top of your game here, and it doesn't even matter, who's driving the truck, who knows about the engines, but you guys seem to have the best equipment, week in and week out. You're insanely popular amongst the Monster Jam fan base. I know you said you never could have imagined that, your life would end up like this, but it's got, looking back at it now, there has to be just some feel good moments for you and some bittersweet moments as well, knowing that this dream that started for you guys back in 1991 is still going strong.
It is, like I say, I've been so blessed over the years to be part of this and to kind of grow up, so to speak, in it, and kind of evolve with it. Man, if I had to pick, somebody asked me one time, he says, what's your favorite moment, and I got to be honest, it'd be hard to pick just one, I mean, it's been so much fun and such a good time, and it'd be hard to pick just one. I couldn't pick just one.
Well, I'm not going to make you pick just one. We'll just say there's many, many memorable moments in your
Yeah, many,
career,
yeah,
and
yeah.
many more still to come. Speaking of which, many more Mark Hall moments on this show coming up next on Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. I am joined this week by Raminator's Mark Hall. So we started talking about the introduction to Hall Brothers Racing. Now let's go to the debut of Executioner back in 1993, because that is still a truck that comes up on the Facebook message boards from the hardcore fan base as being a nostalgic truck that a lot of fans would love to see return. So let's talk about those early days of Executioner for you.
Yeah, 1993. Good grief, that's going way back. We had a truck called Big Boss at the time. We was running that, and we decided to change it up a little bit, maybe get a little bit more of an aggressive name. And so with the Executioner sounded kind of cool, and we never really. I got to be honest, we never really put any thought into it. We just kind of thought that sounds kind of cool. Execute the competition kind of thing, and
Yeah.
and thought that sounded kind of cool. So we kind of went down that road, and we had a lot of fun with it. And we had a little character on the side, and it was fun. And but it just like I say, we didn't really give a whole lot of thought. We probably should have maybe put more thought into it, but it just sounded kind of cool, so we kind of went with it.
All right, so 2002, the partnership with Dodge comes up. We see the debut of Raminator. How did that play out? Where did Dodge come from in all this?
I remember this like it was yesterday. I was working out back at the shop, and Tim came out and he said, "Hey, a lady from Dodge called and it was wondering if we'd be interested in running the monster truck program." And of course, we thought, heck yeah, absolutely. And so she asked some questions and thought, well, okay, we'll see where it goes. And then we didn't hear any more. And then we heard then she called back and asked a few more questions, and we thought, well, maybe this is going to turn into something. But I remember going home. I told June, I said, hey, there's a lady from Dodge called, and she was kind of interested, and but we had sent out so many proposals to different companies and things, and heard so many no's that I got to be honest, it was a little bit, it was kind of tough to get excited, because I thought, well, I don't want to get too worked up about it, because if something that goes wrong and it doesn't come about, we don't want to be too disappointed. But man, I never dreamed that it would turn into this, and we would be partners with them for all these years. And we've had a lot of different program managers over the years, and it started out as Dodge, and then it went to Ram, and when they made Ram its own brand, and it's been really, really cool. And I learned a lot, from that, not only on the racing side and all that sort of thing, but just how all that works, and there's so much more, to that sort of thing, than winning and losing. There's a lot more to it than that, and that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned from that. And but I couldn't ask for better partners. I mean, they've been very good to me, and very good to my family.
The favorite car, my most favorite car I've ever owned was a Dodge Avenger. I bought it in Vegas years ago, and this thing, it wasn't quite, the Charger, the Challenger, but this thing was a little sports car that could flat out run, and that engine was strong and powerful. So I want to ask you about your equipment, because we see on Raminator, the Hemi Power, that you have all the Dodge markings there, but as far as the inner workings of your truck, how much of that is influenced by Dodge?
Well, we use a copy right now of a Hemi engine. It's they're 565 cubic inches, and all that sort of thing. But yeah, it's based on the old Chrysler Hemi.
Gotcha.
We got some new stuff coming up the pipeline there, or down the whatever that saying is, down the pipeline, whatever, with some new stuff that is going to be really exciting. That we're really, really excited about. Should be in the next month or so, or I think some stuff's going to come around, and look forward to that. It's going to be pretty cool. The new hurricane's coming around. I'll just give you a little hint,
Oh wow.
and that's going to be pretty exciting. That's going to be pretty exciting to do that, and to get our hands on that, and see what we can do with that. But yeah, pretty excited about that.
That's amazing. I know a lot of fans were excited to see you make your World Finals debut at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles, and I'd love to talk to you about that. But we're going to do it right after this, so stay right where you are. More Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil, is next. Welcome back to Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. I'm Scott Jordan. My guest this week is Mark Hall, the legendary driver of Raminator. And before we get to your World Finals debut at SoFi, I do want to go back to XXIII again. I want to go back to 1999, which was the precursor to World Finals. A lot of fans refer to it online as World Finals 0, which happened at the Trans World Dome in St. Louis, now the Dome at America Center, on April 3rd of 1999. You were there. That lineup featured Tom Mentz, Dennis Anderson, Jim Kohler, Gary Porter, Scott Hartsock, Scott Stevens, Paul Schaefer, but just really an unbelievable who's who of monster truck legends. What are your memories from that event in St. Louis?
I always thought that was a really cool arena or stadium to race in, and to be there with all those names that you just rattled off there. Holy cow, that's some legends right there. So that was a big race, a huge race. It was a lot of fun. And again, when I get into that kind of stuff, I get fired up, and it's almost like win or lose. Just to be part of it is pretty cool. So yeah, that for me, it's neat to get to race with all these guys, and then be able to tell people about it later that I did get to race with those legends.
And then you end up at SoFi Stadium. When that lineup was announced for Last Chance Qualifier, I think that blew up my Twitter feed, my Instagram feed as well, because everybody was so excited. That lineup in the Last Chance Qualifier was some of the best drivers in Monster Jam, independents or not, and you were there. And fans finally talking about seeing Mark Hall and Raminator compete on a World Finals track, especially a track like that, the S-Track layout. When it was finally announced that you were going to compete at World Finals, what were your emotions there now, so long into your career that you finally get this opportunity?
Well, that's the thing. When I got the call about that, I first off, I thought it was so cool that, let's be honest, at this point in my career, that they thought about me to get an invite in there to the finals. That was really neat. And I got to be honest, and I'm not making this up. I thought to myself, you know what? I don't. It doesn't matter how I do. I've already won. I've won. I at this point in my career, I'm invited to be at the World Finals. I enjoyed it so much. It was so cool to be part of that. I mean, let's face it. That's heck, that's our Super Bowl. That's our
Right.
Daytona 500, our Indy 500. That's our event. So it was awesome to be part of that, and to be invited into that, and take part in all the hoopla that goes with it, and it was just, I was excited. And then to go to Los Angeles, that was pretty cool too. So yeah, I like I said, I thought, you know what, if we get in, that'd be wonderful. But if we don't, I won. In my opinion, I won. I was pretty excited about it.
I think a lot of our old school fans have been following Monster Jam since the early days of Sam Boyd Stadium. Felt the same way. Just a nostalgic feel to see you on that track, to get to meet you there in LA. I know it was a huge honor for them as well. Were you feeling that from the fans that you met at the pit party?
Oh yeah, heck yeah! Pit parties are one of my favorite parts. I'm a hardcore racer, but the pit parties are one of my favorite. I enjoy talking with everybody and talking to people, and I did get that feeling. That was kind of neat, and it was very nice that people come by and they would say that, oh, it's so great to get to finally see you here, and get a chance to run with that, and that made me very humbling. And I thought that was pretty cool. And obviously, I wish I'd done a little bit better, but hey, what the heck? We got to be part of it, and so I was pretty excited about that.
Well, let's talk about Kurt Kramer, the driver of Rammunition. He is your teammate right now in Monster Jam. What makes Kurt a great fit for your team at Hall Brothers Racing, and a great driver for Rammunition?
He just I don't know what it is. He just fits in good with us. He's almost like another brother. And I don't know what it is, but when we first met him years ago, it just like from almost from like day one, he just kind of fit in, and he's a funny guy. He's fun to be around. Always makes you laugh. And so he just fits in. I guess that's the cool part, and he does a great job. He's a hard worker. He works his butt off. And we definitely appreciate that. But yeah, he fits good. He does a good job. He never quits, never gives up. Always there, always trying. No matter what, it's tough to get him down. He gets down a little bit once in a while, but he gets right back up. And that's pretty cool. That's what I like about him. And I can always every day he comes to work. He comes into the shop and he always says something funny right off the start, right off the start of the day. And so I appreciate that, and it sets the tone. But yeah, he does a great job for us, and we really have enjoyed. We've been very blessed to have him for I don't know what 10 years now, I think.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk to you a little bit, speaking to Kurt, about hot seat, because we see Kurt in Ramunition, but every now and then, you guys bring the hot seat body out for a little bit. So what is the origin behind hot seat?
you know, um, it sounds funny. We needed a power washer, and we had a couple other one went down, and so we needed a power washer, and we thought, well, Hotsy is like the name in power washers, and so we thought, well, let's try one of those. So we bought it, and the sales guy came out, and as funny as this sounds, the sales guy came out, and we started talking to him about it, and kicked some ideas around, and he said, we thought, well, that's kind of cool, and we worked with it a little bit more, and then we bought another one, bought a parts washer, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And kind of jokingly said, "Hey, we ought to work together on some stuff." And it again, it never dreamed that it would turn into that, but it did. And so now we do a ton of farm shows and displays stuff for them, and they've been great partners to work with along with Ram, and just super good people. But yeah, it started with nothing more than us buying a power washer, and the guy come out, and this led to this, and it led to that, and before you know, we're at the corporate headquarters.
It's a great product, obviously, but it's amusing sometimes when you see the Raminator and Ramunition, and then you look at the lineup and you see Raminator and then Hotsy, and on paper, when you look at those two names side by side, you probably wonder, whoa, what is this going to be? But then Hotsy comes out and Kurt drives the wheels off the wagon, and it looks great. So I love that. Now, are you contracted to put that body on a certain amount of times a year, or is it just whenever you guys feel like bringing it out, it works?
Yeah, no, we do. We do a handful. They get a handful of events every year that we agree upon, and we try to do it in markets where Hotsy's big, and so yeah. They get so many events a year that we put it on there and race, and it just works good. It works really good. And like I say, we do a ton of farm shows for them. They put the truck in the booth, kind of eye candy, and but it's worked out really slick. They've been very good partners to work with over the years.
All right, let's look into our crystal ball here for 2025. It'll be 34 years for you since your debut. Planning to continue this run with Raminator and Ramunition and Monster Jam?
Absolutely. I'm here for the long haul, and like I say, 34 years ago, I never would have thought I'd still be here, but yeah, as long as they'll have me, I'm on board. I enjoy this. I really I enjoy. Like I say, I'm a hardcore racer, so I just like racing. It doesn't matter where. I just like doing it, and so yeah, as long as they'll have me, I'm hanging around. I'll be here when they shut the lights off the last time.
Somebody be handing you the keys to the building to tell you to lock up, right?
Yeah, there you go.
You'll be the last one left in the parking lot. Okay, well, at least the fans will know where to find you. When the lights go off and there's one car left and there's one trailer left, we know it belongs to Hall Brothers Racing. So there you go, fans. If you ever want to meet Mark, he's the last one to leave. Real quick, let's talk about, just continue on this crystal ball, but you've had a taste of World Finals in LA. We're moving to Salt Lake City next year. Hopes to go back and make it even bigger and better.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now, like you say, now you get a taste of it, and now you want more of it, and absolutely. I was thinking about that when we was on Los Angeles there. I thought, man, I want to get back here. This is really cool. And I definitely want to get in there. So we're going to work hard at it. We're going to work super hard and try to get back in there and get into that field there, because I like I say, you get a little taste of that, and you don't want to go backwards.
Yep, I agree. I feel the same way, and hopefully we'll see you back there at Salt Lake City. But coming up next, I ask your questions to Mark. Stick around. More Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil, is on the way. We are back with more Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil. My guest this week is Mark Hall, and it's time for your questions. You can be a part of the conversation each week by following me on Instagram at Scott Jordan MJSX. All right, Mark, are you ready to answer some questions from your fans?
Sure, absolutely.
This one comes from Monster Jam King 29. says, if given the chance, would you and Kurt compete in stadiums again so that way you guys could put all of that Dodge horsepower to use?
That's a good question. I race the stadiums, and but for whatever reason, I know Kurt would dig racing the stadiums. He would definitely dig that. For whatever reason, I like the arenas. I just like racing in there, and I've kind of I don't know. I kind of feel like that's kind of my home now. And but yeah, I wouldn't mind. I got a taste there at SoFi. That was pretty neat to race in there. So yeah, I guess I'd go back if the opportunity presented itself.
Even though you're in a guy, though, you did have a record for a long time of the fastest drive speed in a Monster Jam truck. I think it was up 99 miles per hour, right? So you've got
we
that.
did. We ran pretty hard. That was pretty cool. We learned a lot on that. We had a lot of fun, and the fastest we ever ran was 104 when we were testing for it. And then when we officially did it, ran 99.7 or something like that, I think. And then Bryce, he come around and beat us there a little bit, but records are made to be broken, and so he broke that one. We held it for a long time, and so maybe we left a little on the table there. Maybe we'll go back and do it again sometime.
I think you should give it another shot, Mark. I'd be there.
Absolutely.
All right, Big Yoda the Man says, having raced in literally every venue from the Silverdome to Daytona International Speedway, what is your favorite venue to race in and why?
It's funny that you say that, the Silverdome. I think I've been asked that before, and I think that's my favorite place, the old Pontiac Silverdome. And the part of the reason of that is, well, there's a few things. One, that's where we debuted Raminator the very first time, and that was very special that night. But I think that one of the coolest thing is going back to what I said there. My dad was a motorcycle announcer. He announced tractor pulls, truck tractor pulls, and I remember going there, and my dad was announcing a tractor pull. And I was too young to get down on the floor because I wanted to go down and see him. And so my mom was taking us down there to visit with him a second, and we was only able to be down there for just a little bit because I was a pretty young kid. And so I always remembered that, and I always remember going back to the Silverdome and remembered that for whatever reason. And so that was probably one of my favorite places to race was at the Pontiac Silverdome. It was an iconic building too. It was pretty cool.
It was one of the biggest buildings I think that was out there. Historic venue, a lot of big events there, WrestleManias, Monster Jam, NCAA Final Fours. Mark, absolute pleasure to have you on the show, man. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, and hopefully I will see you at World Finals again next year as you compete once again.
I look forward to it. Thank you. And I sure appreciate you having me on. That was a lot of fun and pretty cool. Hopefully we get to talk again too. That'd be cool.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, that is all the time we have. I'll see you right here next week with another brand new episode of Inside Monster Jam, powered by Lucas Oil.